Senate will please come to order. We're returning from a recess. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I ask that the rules be suspended and we take up JRS 29.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and that JRS 29 be taken up for immediate action. And JRS 29, to recall, is a joint resolution relating to final adjournment of the General Assembly 2021. Are you ready for the question? Kindly unmute. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 That's me.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you suspended the rules and will now take up JRS 29. We have for introduction and adoption JRS 29 relating to final adjournment of the General Assembly 2021. Please listen to the reading of the resolution.
JRS 29, joint resolution relating to final adjournment of the General Assembly 2021. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives that when the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives adjourn their respective houses on the 21st or 22nd day of May 2021, they shall do so to reconvene on the 23rd day of June 2021 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon, as the governor has failed to sign S-107 and returned it to the House of Origin with his objections in writing. Then to reconvene on the 19th day of October 2021 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon on the joint call of the President pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House, or on the 4th day of January 2022 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon, if not so jointly called.
The question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution? The senator from Caledonia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Before we vote, may I inquire if the pro tem, did we move to suspend the rules to have the action taken on the H39, the budget bill, to the House forthwith?
That is the next, thank you, Senator. That is the item on the next item on the agenda.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Are you ready for the question? The question is, shall the Senate adopt the resolution? Senators are kindly asked to unmute. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've adopted JRS 29. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I ask that the rules be suspended and that we message our actions on H439, an act relating to making appropriations for the support of government, and JRS 29, joint resolution relating to final adjournment, to the House forthwith.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and H439, along with JRS 29, be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? Kindly unmute. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you suspended the rules and messaged H439 as well as JRS 29 to the House forthwith. The senator from Windham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I ask that the rules be suspended and we take up JRS 24, joint resolution relating to amending temporary joint rule 22A.
The senator from Windham has moved that the rules be suspended and JRS 24 be taken up for immediate action. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please unmute and say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've suspended the rules and will now take up JRS 24. We now have on the calendar JRS 24, a resolution relating to amending Joint Rule 22A. The House has proposed the Senate to amend the bill as set forth on page 2498 of today's calendar. Just to recall that the underlying question is, shall the Senate concur with the House proposal of amendment on JRS 24? The senator from Wyndham, Senator Ballin, is recognized for the report.
Thank you, Madam President. So JRS 24, this is the joint resolution that amends the temporary joint rule 22A. Temporary rule 22A was the one relating to remote sessions, and that's the one that's being amended. So to remind the senators, Rule 22A is the emergency rule regarding joint committee meetings. So in this, in JRS 24, Section A is dealing with joint rules as a committee has the authority to permit remote joint legislative committees. That's how we've been operating remotely. We added this temporary rule to allow us to do so. So we are amending B, and it states that the authority of joint rules regarding remote work will cease or stop 30 days following the governor rescinding the emergency order and all the restrictions that are related to that. And C says that if the governor reinstates the restrictions in response to COVID-19, so if we have another surge that requires us to reinstate more restrictions, the Joint Rules Committee has the authority to meet remotely to permit the remote meeting of joint committees. So that was, for those of you who were in the Senate last year, you remember that was a sticking point. We needed to reconvene in person to give ourselves permission to meet remotely, and we're trying to get around that issue. So the other thing that I want to draw your attention to, the House felt that resolved was very important to make clear. I'll just read it so that there's no confusion. If the Joint Rules Committee determines that there should be conditions on the public entering the State House or other legislative meeting spaces, or limitations on access to legislative meeting spaces due to air quality or construction, the inability to comply with Centers for Disease Control and Prevention guidelines, or other similar reasons, the Joint Rules Committee is authorized to issue orders to the Sergeant at Arms that condition or limit that public access. We do not anticipate limiting access to the press or the public. We just want people to understand that the authority for that lies with the Joint Rules Committee. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Senator. The question is, shall the Senate concur with the House proposal of amendment on JRS 24? Are you ready for the question? The senator from Wyndham is recognized, and I also see the senator from Windsor, and we will go to you next, Senator. Senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. May I inquire of the pro tem?
You may.
So, Madam President, does this mean that summer study committees starting August 4th, assuming that July 4th is when the governor lifts the order, will be able to meet in the State House, but ones that meet prior to August 4th will not?
Senator, one thing to keep in mind, as I think you and I spoke about this morning, there's a difference between a standing joint committee and a task force. So joint rules does not necessarily have authority over a task force, for example.
Oh.
Does that help answer the question?
It helps. Who has authority over a task force?
We believe the chair of the task force.
Okay, thank you. I guess that answers my question. But I am to assume that any other standing joint committees like government accountability or boards and commissions will not be meeting in the State House until after August 4th.
Madam President, I would say that I don't believe the rule speaks to that. What the rule is really speaking to is after the governor rescinds the order, we will not be meeting remotely or in a hybrid fashion. That's really what the rule speaks to. that legislators and senators, rather, House members and senators would be expected to be present. That does not mean we can't have witnesses offering testimony or staff supporting committees remotely.
Okay, I think I understand. Thank you.
The senator from Windsor is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. May I inquire of the pro tem?
You may.
Madam President, I wonder if the pro tem might tell the Senate what council, what legislative council or whoever was consulted had to say about the constitutional implications of this, given how do we reconcile this with the constitutional right of the public to have access to our deliberations?
Senator, I don't understand. Perhaps you could clarify how you believe the resolution runs counter to the Constitution. It's not clear to me how it does.
I don't believe that. In fact, I presume it's constitutional, but I would like it explained why, because no doubt I will have to explain to constituents who will confront me with the fact that the Vermont Constitution requires that all of our deliberations be carried out in public, that the public have access. If we have meetings in the State House and do not allow the public, that would appear to be in conflict. I presume it's not. I presume that council was consulted and that there is a competent opinion that this is constitutional. I would like that explained.
Madam President, again, I would ask the question of the senator, is there something in the rule that says that the public will not be allowed to see the proceedings? If I understood correctly, the resolution calls for, in those situations in which it is not safe to allow the public into the State House, that joint hearings would happen with the public excluded. I know. Senator, this JRS 24 is only authorizing the Joint Rules Committee to make decisions about joint meetings that are remote.
The reference was to the State House. So is it saying that if the State House is not accessible, then meetings will not happen in the State House? They will be remote?
Madam President, if you're referring to the resolved section of the of JRS 24, we're simply clarifying that the authority for how those decisions are made rest with joint rules.
First, I apologize for taking this much time. I had in the original explanation of the resolution, reference was made to those situations in which it is deemed that the State House is not safe for public to allow the public access. And perhaps I simply heard incorrectly, in which case I would welcome the clarification. I understood the presentation to be that the Rules Committee could authorize joint meetings in the State House from which the public would be excluded. If that's not the case, that's the clarification I'm looking for.
Madam President, I will confer with our counsel, the Senate Secretary, to see how I might better answer the senator's question.
The Senate will stand in a brief recess.